workshop in 30 minutes. This is going to be awesome. All right, so and it's going to be basically on LinkedIn. This is a workshop I did in May, and it's going to be very abbreviated, and we can go through an awful lot. I may kind of parse things so that we can get through the strategic elements of LinkedIn as opposed to the mechanics. But I do want to spend a little bit of time on the mechanics because a lot of people still struggle with those elements of navigating through LinkedIn as a tool. So we'll go through a little bit of that, but mostly I want to spend time on strategy and how to maximize the effectiveness of LinkedIn in your social media portfolio. So first of all, how many of you are on LinkedIn? How many of you are connected to me? Most half. That's okay, good. We'll fix that later. We're all going to be connected. I love it. So LinkedIn is generally accepted as a professional network. It's a network that you use to display your professional world to everybody. This is more or less what it would look like for most of you. When you log in, you're going to see a stream, a lot like Facebook stream. Okay, you see all sorts of different things people have shared, including the fantastic Tracy and others that I'm connected with. Right. You also will see some of your network updates. I'm connected with them. He has a work anniversary today. He's celebrating 3 years. So you get a little bit of a sense of what's going on in your network on this view. Your profile, however, is different. Your profile does not look like this. It looks like this. This is what people see when they come to your page. Exactly what they see. But it's very similar to what they see. So they're going to see big review, some of the details about your professional career, and this big old banner in the background. I encourage you to build a banner that actually adds value to your profile, something that highlights some of the things that you're doing on social or in your profession, okay, or in your business if you're a small business owner. So highlight some of those things up in that space, logo, and make sure people understand that you're associated with the business that you're doing. That's just a small strategic element there. As you move on, there's going to be different elements. There's going to be different elements that you can edit, but these are the things that people see and in the order that they see them. So you're going to see an awful lot from me because I've been all over the place. And my job's but that's okay. But there's lots of things that you can include in your profile to allow people to get to know you a little bit better and to establish a professional relationship with you. So there's the end. Okay, so you don't have to have a really long one like I do. Some of you may not choose to participate in groups. You may not have lots of references or people giving you letters of reference. You may not have a lot of associations that you work with a lot of groups that are outside your professional organization or even within your professional life that I have some, and I try to develop that as much as possible. And I've included all my jobs back there. Quite a few jobs, not all. So that's a little bit of a sense of what you're getting here when you get into LinkedIn. When you're in the middle of editing, all these little pencils here, that's what you pencils. Those are elements of your LinkedIn profile that you can edit, okay? In the presentation here, we're going to go through some profile steps. One thing I want you to understand is your public profile URL is not this up here, okay? This is not the URL that people will use to access your profile. It is down here. This is the one you want to share, and it's very pretty and very nice, and it's what you get to choose, okay? So mine is linkedin.com/in/Anderson, okay? You can select that and edit it and make it yours, okay? Over here, that's your public profile URL. Let's go pencil, type in a new URL, okay? It's just the extension there, just the last element there. However, there might be other people that have that same URL, so you might have to have other stuff like that. I was very but once you've got that, that's how that's the URL that you will want to share. Okay, don't share the big long one up the top because that's ugly and very hard to manage. So share the enhanced URL. Unless you ended up making something ridiculous. The next one we're looking into, we talked about a background photo. You can create a badge for your website. Basically, okay, so there's a way to add a badge for your website, and actually the preferred method for me is to make your own graphic for LinkedIn, and then create an HTML link out of that graphic using that shortened URL, the pretty URL that we had. And if you don't know how to do that, your web designer does. That's how you can create that. There is a badge system that you can add that has all of that built in. Unfortunately, I'm not as prepared for this, and I don't really want to take the time to go through that process at this point. But that's another thing that you can add for your website to have, say you're trying to build a CV website. You can add that badge. You can go to your professional profile and get a little bit more information about you, connect with you. So LinkedIn profiles are search engine optimizable, SEO ready for LinkedIn. So what you're going to want to do when you do your profile, you're going to want to think, okay, what do I want to be found for, right? Do I want to be found for home economics, or pizza, or training, or parenting, or what is the keywords that I want to be found for, okay? Make sure that those are found frequently within not only your tagline text here, okay, but as you scroll down and get into the different areas up here, make sure it's in your experience section, okay, including with the previous jobs if they are connected to what you want to be found for. Okay, don't put what you are. Okay, I work at XYZ company doing XYZ for this company. You're going to have better impact if you put what you want to be found for. Okay, you will have much better prospects with LinkedIn if you say, I want to be found for this. I am a professional at this. That may not be reflected in your job description necessarily, but you don't want that job anymore, right? You want to be found for what you are passionate about, what you are skilled at, what you are capable of doing, okay? Many of us find ourselves in jobs that we are passionate about, don't enjoy, that we got the job because we needed a job really bad, and so it was available. But it's not what we are, it's not what we do. Put the keywords for the things that you are and the things that you want to do, and that's what you'll be found for. The gentleman who is supposed to fill this spot is a recruiter for Pacific Northwest National Laboratory, Patel out here, and he was asked to talk about recruiting. Okay, when he goes out and he starts looking for recruiting for recruits for the lab out there, he's looking for people that have specific keywords that fit a job description. Okay, the experience is not what he's going to find. It's the keywords that he's going to find, and he will have to sift through the experience to determine whether or not it's actually applicable. Okay? Yes.
A question for the job that you have, let's say, science and research communication associated senior.
Yes.
What I see is the job description.
Yes.
Is that not useful or useful? Because I thought
you can't. So if you just cut and paste job description, dump it into that space, then all of the keywords that are associated with that job description are still applicable and searchable. Okay. So that's what if that's what you want to be found for, right?
that's not your recommendation.
No, if put the keywords, the information that you want to be found for. So let's say you were at, we'll use me as an example, right? I worked at Battelle as a senior communications professional out there, right?
That's why I asked, because I'm checking and it's basically copy.
Right, it's copy and paste, right? The things that I want to be found for may not necessarily be those elements, right? The things I want to be found for are what I did with social media, what I did for training, what I did for communications in general, right? Those are the things I want to be found for. And so if I were to optimize this for search engine optimization purposes, I would go back through and alter the description of what I did to fit those keywords. Okay? In this particular situation, I'm no longer looking for a job because this is my job right here, right? So I haven't really made a lot of changes to what I'm doing. It still helps if people are looking for a social media professional to make sure that those keywords exist throughout all of my different job listings here. But at this point, I haven't made a lot of edits to it because I'm busy, which is a nice thing to be. But keep that in mind as you're going through. Optimize your profile. Make sure that you're including information that you want to be found for, not necessarily what you have been, but what you want to be found for. Okay? So I encourage you to include work samples. Okay, so some of my work samples are actually posts, and we'll get into that. That's a completely different element of LinkedIn that I encourage everybody to start trying to build and develop, particularly if you can turn a phrase. Okay? But some of your work examples could be like this homecoming flyer that I did for Patty. It was just a graphic design thing that I did, and I wanted to make sure that people saw that I had created something with graphics and I designed it, right? So I uploaded that and created that as an example of my work. You can do that with any of your jobs that you list on here. So I encourage you that if you have an opportunity to do that, do that. This is also really good. A good fine example for you would be to upload a video. Okay? Upload or link to a video or link to a speech or a presentation that you've done. If you've got slides, this is really powerful for people that have a slide deck that they've done for, I'm sure you've experienced this for scientists. Scientists will take their slide deck, they'll dump it on their profile, and now people can connect with them and find that slide deck and be able to know exactly what they were talking about. I would never understand what they were talking about, but that's okay. I'm not a scientist. I just communicate.
And then SlideShare connects to it.
Yes, SlideShare connects to it. And SlideShare is a really good and valuable third-party software or software as a service. It has a lot of powerful features. Basically, like creating a slideshow website, which is really cool. Okay, I'm moving through this rather quickly. I'm sure you're all going to have questions at the end. So you can organize your profile sections. You don't have to have your experience first, right? I just happen to have it first. You can grab this little button here and drag it down to a different location. Okay, you can put whatever you want first. It doesn't have to be your experience. So, case in point, you're a graduate. You haven't had a job, except for Taco Bell, right? That's how you paid for your fun days during college. Went to Taco Bell and worked for a couple hours and had some money. The rest of the time, you've been a student. Don't put Taco Bell as the first thing on your profile, right? That would be kind of silly. You want to be found for what you want to be found for, not for what you did. So put the things first. Put your education first. Make sure that that's first in front of everybody. And on your education, if there's works that you did for certain classes, make sure that those make it onto your profile. Right? Show that you actually were able to synthesize the information that you learned in the class in a functional way that will apply to your desired field of expertise. Okay, so the ability to organize your profile is very valuable tool. Okay? That you can make sure that the most important things are the things that people see first. Okay? Really cool tool. For those of you that are out there actually trying to chase down a job, there's this thing called Build Your Resume. So it is actually built into LinkedIn. It's part of it, resume.linkedinlabs.com. So when you go into this, sign in with LinkedIn, right? It'll take your entire profile. It'll take your entire profile and put it into a variety of different resume templates. Okay? So if you've managed your profile well, you will never have to write another resume, type any resumes up ever again. Okay? Manage your profile, resumes become simple. Super simple. Okay? So that's why I think this is one of the most powerful features of LinkedIn, is that it really offers you the ability to create resumes quickly and change the format and the look to fit the desired company. Some people want stodgy, boring resumes, right? They just want it super, super simple. And other people, if you're in the graphics field or a creative field, they want something that shows a little bit of your pizzazz, a little bit more of the person behind the resume, right? You actually have the ability to pick those different types of looks and change the way they look. So keep that in mind as you do that. The resume builder, experiment with it, make changes to it, take parts and pieces of your profile off the resume and build something. It's a really fantastic tool. So I would encourage you to look into that a little bit deeper when you have a moment. So we're going to talk about endorsements on LinkedIn. Endorsements are really, they're kind of in social media, people look on them very lightly. In recruiting, people look on them very lightly. But in the professional world, they can actually have a considerable amount of value. And I'm going to show you what that means. Endorsements are not those long, recommendations that people give you. Like I've got a handful of recommendations from some other people that have recommended me. Endorsements are these things down here, skills and endorsements, right? These are the skills that you have identified or that other people have identified about you that are important, okay? Leading the top skills for me is social media marketing. I've got 69 endorsements for that particular thing. I see a couple of faces on there that have endorsement for that in this room. Okay. These are only valuable if your endorsement comes from a connection. Okay. So let's say Paul has someone that wants to connect to me. Okay. And they know Paul. And Paul has endorsed me for social media marketing. And that's why they want to connect to me, because they want to find someone that's good at social media marketing. If they see Paul's face up here or notice that Paul is listed as one of the endorsers, that provides social proof that I do indeed have those skills. Now, if it's a recruiter trying to connect with me here, odds are that recruiter isn't going to know a single soul on that entire list. This has no value. Okay? It has no value whatsoever to that recruiter. But to a person that is connected to you, what they call a third tier kind of connection, it could have a ton of them. So keep that in mind, that this is still important, and it's not a bad thing to develop it. And the way you develop it is you find your own connections and you endorse them for the things that they are good at, right? And reciprocity, we all like to pat each other's back when someone does us a favor, when we do them a favor. We never want a handful of IOUs sitting around, right? They will reciprocate, and they will go out there and they will endorse you for the things that they feel you would qualify for. And so it's those connections that we have with each other that are actually going to create value in these endorsements. Otherwise, they aren't worth a whole heck of a lot, because I could be endorsed by people who have never in their entire lives experienced any of these things. Okay?
So is that why people will endorse me or something?
That's exactly.
And I don't know what to.
Yeah, you've never done business with them. You're connected to them purely out of self-interest. Yeah, they'll endorse you for it because they expect that you're going to endorse them for something. Okay, and that's why the connection here with endorsements is tenuous. It's something that has value, but at the same time, it's limited because of the way people have used it in the past and the way people continue to use it in some ways. So keep that in mind.
I had a quick question. You had mentioned about the people who have left, like, I don't know, what is it? Comments, recommendations. You said they're not really worth anything?
No, recommendations are incredibly valuable.
Okay.
Endorsements are less valuable.
Okay.
So there's a
I just wanna make sure I understood that.
difference between a recommendation and endorsement.
So-
Recommendations are people who you can call on and request a recommendation from, and they will write out in their own words.
Yeah. So that's like if the VP of Amazon were to leave a recommendation for Aaron's video work, that's going to be awesome, right?
Yeah, that's going to blow him up. He's going to look like the stud of all studs.
Okay. Just want to make sure, because that didn't
And we
happen.
all know Aaron is the stud of all studs.
No, I just want to make sure. I want to clarify that's what you meant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now, case in point, if the VP of Amazon provides social proof in the form of an endorsement and a recommendation, and someone's recruiting for the skill set that he has as an endorsement there, and they see and know that the person endorsing them is the VP of Amazon, okay, that's going to provide a lot of social proof, okay? But most recruiters aren't going to be looking in that for connection. They're going to be looking for the recommendations, okay? Because those are not scripted by me. Those are scripted by the person recommending them.
Cool.
Yes.
You said using the word, so if somebody's looking for a job, the recommendations are the difference.
Yes.
Yeah, but if you're a freelancer, freelance graphic designer, that's still in the area of recommendation.
Yeah, so recommendations are immensely valuable, okay? What I wanted to talk about a little bit more in this particular part of the discussion is endorsements. And endorsements, like I said, have some value but less value than recommendations. Recommendations aren't, you can't get enough of them, okay? If someone can recommend your work, because they've actually experienced it, and they can script out 140 characters, 3 pages, whatever they script out as far as the recommendation of your work. That is crazy valuable. But the simple act of saying, yes, he does know social media marketing, yes, he knows blogging, yes, he knows Facebook, those endorsements have less value other than the connections that a person might share with you. So a person that is connected to Paul goes and views my endorsements and sees Paul has endorsed me for a skill, they now see some sort of social proof that I do indeed have that skill. Okay, they may then feel like they can trust that endorsement and contact me for that purpose.
So only if that person's face is already there.
Yeah.
And that someone will say, oh, I know that person, and that person is recommending you.
Right.
I'm gonna make you do something.
It becomes more so when people do it willy-nilly. You know, when you start endorsing people for things like Word, right, or Excel. You know, that these endorsements are so generic and so easy that you assume that if they graduated high school within the last 10 years, they know how to use Word and Excel, so you automatically just endorse them for it. Well, what if they're looking for a job in that specific field and they don't actually have those skills? Okay, you've endorsed them for that, and that has little to no value for them if a recruiter comes looking for it, because they're not going to work with them. Okay, the recommendation, however, say my employer says, posts a recommendation saying that yes, they totally aced the Excel spreadsheet for our business and managed it and developed a great system for tracking our inventories, et cetera, whatever, right? That kind of a recommendation, as opposed to an endorsement, is valuable. The endorsement itself only has value if you're trying to make interpersonal connections. So 2 hours of this, we didn't really get into all of it. We didn't get into much of it. So I encourage you to, I can share this presentation with any of you and look through enough, but there's not a lot of it, so you can see bulk points. But I would like you to go and investigate LinkedIn. It has a lot of resources. If you're out there trying to find a job, that resume builder is awesome. Okay, you only have to keep your profile up to date. And your resume. If you have any questions, we're going to be networking here in just a couple of minutes. Come talk to me. We'll talk about LinkedIn. We'll talk about strategies on how to use it, how to build your profile. And most of what I talked about today is personal profile. We can talk about business profiles as well. So if that's something you want to discuss, we can look into that as well. Go ahead and mingle and network, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes with